Hey everyone, it's Porter, and welcome to the wait, hold on a second. For the 5-year YouTube anniversary, come on, I gotta spice things up a little bit. Here, give me a second. Much better. Don't worry, live action Porter is just popping in for a quick second to give the intro to this video, and to show off the nice little cosplay. Anyways, I've been making videos on this platform all the way from 2017 to now. 2022. That's a long time. And throughout all these years, there have been so many projects I've been working on that have been trashed or repurposed or just forgotten about. Sometimes they just haven't been presentable to YouTube, or I haven't found a way to compress them into a good enough YouTube video. And I thought that ends today. Today I'm going to be explaining and showcasing some of the lost projects from throughout 2016 to now, 2022, while giving some background information on videos I have made on other channels and on this one. Wow, thanks for the intro, live action Porter. By the way, your haircut doesn't look dumb and your acne isn't noticeable. Thanks. Anyway, before we start this video, I'd like to say none of the sound effects and music used in this are mine, and this video is heavily inspired by Us Mark's long Disney video. But yeah, without further ado, let's go back to 6 years ago? Sheesh, I'm getting old. Anyway, 6 years ago, 2016. Xander and the Amulet of Centaur was my first attempt at making anything, really. It was a nice little Harry Potter clone that 8-year-old me managed to whip up 120 pages of. Yoda was in it too. Basically, it was a little fanfiction thing with drawings where Xander went to Hogwarts, got expelled, and then lived in this forest with a rip-off Ron guy named Licorice. Yeah, I wanted to stand out with all the names, so they basically all sound like mock-up candies or drugs. I did make a video about this a really long time ago, so for more information watch that. It's linked in the description, but I can't really go any further with my unoriginal ideas, but it was fun, even though it got a bit boring after a while. I made some spin-offs and attempted remakes, but nothing really stuck like the original. Currently the book is lost, and all we have to preserve it is this video and the animation I made back in 2019. So yeah, that's about it for 2016. Now let's move on to a bigger year. Yeah, these characters are 5 years old now. Well, my versions are. The originals predate longer than even I can remember, but yeah, I stole them. If I say inspired, then nobody will be mad. This is a very short-lived show that was concepted during vacation. Surprisingly, you'll be seeing a lot more of those through this. It followed superheroes Jesse Jonas and, people to guess, Porter. Another clone, but Teen Titans Go this time. Well, we have our concepts in this one comic I made for one episode. Here it is. Alright, here's the comic. It's season 1, episode 6, so must have had a lot of other comics, but this is probably just a concept. So Jonas, I'm guessing, he goes, "Hey Porter," and he's playing music, and he's like, "Porter, Porter," and he pulls him away or something. And that's the whole thing. I have no idea what the context for this is anymore, because it's been like 4 years, 5 years now. So yeah, there's no backside, but pretty neat. Moving on. Quick one here, but I didn't make one take on some Jeff comics, finally including the character after Jesse Jonas and Porter failed. Here they are, and here's a quick little dub of the first bit. Hey, chill, what'd I do? Nothing, you just overslept. And today's the big exam. Oh right, the exam, the grade uplery exam. Come on, the bikes are outside. Move, move, move. Later. Ooh. Hey, Jonas. Oh, look. Is that our ramp? Come on. Come on. Fine. Guys, look, I'm doing it.
Nothing else to really see, but this entry was also referencing the creator of Jeff's original comics, Jesse, and those original comics themselves. But I don't really own them, so oh well. Cry on Discord if you really want to see them, I guess. Next. Big one here. My first actual series was called Gazelle, spelled like this. It followed a pretty average teenager living with her two alien guardians, Robo and Snark, while fighting against her greatest rival, Musto, another alien. This is a very poorly drawn stick figure comic done in those make-your-own comic books, and this became a series with 3.5 installments, I guess, but the first one has been lost. The other two are still there, and the half one has been lost as well. The story follows Gazelle, who is in this cave and gets saved by Snark for some reason, I don't know. They go home and we find out that it was all Musto's doing. He wants to kill this girl so he can make a bunch of robots called Boombots, who revolt and go against him. They all get wiped out and Gazelle survives. Don't ask me how, I was 9. Except that this one's arm, trust me, this will be important. They'll live happily ever after at the end. Nothing really to say about this book, but the entire remains of it have been lost. It's too hard to say anything else about it, but don't worry. There's still 2.5 sequels to talk about. More on that later. Guess who's back? Gazelle was so good, apparently there needed to be a sequel. And the moment I finished making the first one, I knew I needed to make another. So I bought another comic maker, waited 2 to 4 weeks, and got to work. This one follows Musto escaping prison, so Gazelle has to stop him while we get a peace story of Snark and Robo on vacation. Musto's not the real villain in this one, however. This time it's that arm guy. Told you it'd be important. Anyways, Musto creates an unholy amount of acid, so Gazelle, Musto, and the arm guy have to fight while avoiding it. The story ends with the gang coming back, making a big vacuum and sucking up all the acid, along with disintegrating that arm guy. Luckily, 9-year-old me was so proud of my amazing character design, he needed to be back for round 3. I still have this book, and it's probably one of my favorite older creations. It has so much charm with interesting characters, plot, and a good B story that overlaps with the A story. And the opening begins a little story to bring readers being me, myself, and I, in. But for now, I think it's time to let things go. Now, onto Gazelle. Wait, there's one guy first I gotta talk about. It's a mediocre kids book. Let's just get back to Gazelle. Alrighty, here we go. I have this one too, original cover and all. Gazelle 3 is the conclusion to the epic trilogy of the Gazelle saga, if you ignore this one. This one follows Gazelle, who would have guessed, who has a sleepover date with this mysterious guy named Thomas. A plot twist, it's the arm guy, and now he's the spirit thingy, and Gazelle's trapped. Meanwhile, Musto's back in jail, but this time he's got time travel on his side. Time-traveling Musto and new Musto break out of jail and take Gazelle to different time periods, including evil cyborg Gazelle and 1890 homeless Gazelle. This book does have time travel, and explains it really badly. It's way too confusing and poorly written, no doubt it was written by a 9-year-old. Which is a shame, since Gazelle 2 is actually pretty decent. But anyways, to recap, Gazelle goes back to old time and gets hurt and then leaves. Yep. And then she goes to new time, gets hurt, and leaves. Further. Future Musto is now evil and big, and Musto vs. Musto happens. But wait, there's a cliffhanger! Look, when you tell a story of this proportion, with 127 pages, I don't know, it doesn't quite do the job. The story was gonna be continued in Gazelle 4 Homecoming, which got cancelled 30 pages in. But we'll talk about that one more later. I need a break from Gazelle, so have our boys Jesse, Jonas, and Porter been up to? Nothing good, that's for sure. This Go Time was probably the shortest lived project yet. This is a spin-off of Jesse, Jonas, and Porter with 2 new characters, better powerless, new name, and that's about it. This never got past the concepting phase, but I made a little poster for it, so I'd like to remember this short series at least. But don't worry, the guys will be gone for long. Alright, a 4-page comic, 2 scrap TV shows, and a stolen idea. Yeah, I think the next logical step is to make a feature film. It took a couple of months, but I made a pretty decent, well-written film showing off Jeff's capabilities to the max. And it shows that he can be adapted to the medium pretty well, actually. Really? No, I sketched 1 scene out and called it a year. The movie was supposed to be a full revival to the Jeff brand, but it failed, just like it failed countless times before. You'll be hearing that a lot more throughout the next 10 minutes. It's a shame, really, but did you expect a 10-year-old to make an entire movie? Well, not a good one, that is.
I am a chihuahua. I am a cat. I am a very, very fat.
2018 might have not been a great year, but I didn't make Batman meets Fortnite, so it wasn't all that bad. Wait a minute. This was easily the worst year for my channel, and the world in general. 2019, on the other hand. This book was supposed to be the full revival to the Jeff brand after it failed countless times before. Told you, this was a nice little book made for fun, and I went through my Captain Underpants phase while Gazelle was Dogman. Maybe a bit crude, but I like the portrayal of Jesse, Jonas, and Porter, and Jeff actually got powers here. He now has stretchy limbs and stuff, and the boys have personality. Whoa. The story follows some annoying girl who may or may not be a real person, I just wanted to spite. Kind of picks on them. She tries to frame Jesse and Jonas using Porter, but ends up breaking her friend's heart, so it backfires really hard. She also gets bullied by some 8th grader. I'm scared already. And so she wants some revenge. Meanwhile, this lab dude gets fired and accidentally turns himself into a dog. And not in a weird way, I swear. He wants to cause chaos to fuel his rage. So Jeff doesn't like that. He takes care of things. Sends that guy back to where he came from. The way I designed Jeff in this book was surrounded by screens. He was a dude made from screens, somehow. He gets summoned when there are 200 phones in one spot. Funniest part of this book was that 198 adults were willing to fully give their phones to 3 5th graders for a school project. I still really love this book, and I'm kind of impressed that I had enough determination to write an 80-page book, and it turned out okay. Good addition to the Jeff saga, but definitely not canon. Now, speaking of books, what if I did that again, but more boring, and during school? I might have been 7 years late to the derp troll face memes, but better late than never. I had 40 minutes of free time a day and 5 Google image results when I searched derp. So let's make a book. So yeah, this is about what you would expect from a 4th grader, but made in a school setting. The story follows Porter, who meets these aliens called Dirt Martians, and read the title for more information. Some are evil, some are nice, some can teleport, some are an excuse for a 4th grader to draw a hot alien. Jesse, Jonas, and Porter meet up, beat up a robot derp thing, and then meet this woman alien. She can teleport so they can beat up this tyrant alien, but his guards start chasing them, and the story ends on a cliffhanger. There were other aliens like this circle, and this purple circle, and this ghost, and this other ghost. This book had a decent story, but I made this whole thing up during 40-minute periods twice a week over a few months, so continuity was kind of thrown out the window. I remastered the story and made it a play, translated it into Spanish, so that's 3 books made out of 5 Google image results. This remaster had some new drawings and a better story. I think I've read it in like 3 years. The About the Offer section, I listed my friends, clarified there were 2 of them, and they weren't even the characters in the story, Jesse and Jonas. It might be the meanest thing I've ever done. So, yeah, now we have 4 books total. I think that we're done with this series, and nope. Alright, sweet. If you're watching up to this point, we're about halfway done. Yeah, you've been listening to me talk about, well, me for about 15 minutes now, so I assume you're enjoying this, and I just thought I'd pop in and give you a quick little intermission from me talking. I also want to explain that I was on vacation for 2 weeks before most of this video was made. About halfway through this video I went on vacation, I guess, and that's why if it seems a little bit rushed, that's why, but I still tried to put a lot of effort into it. To show you proof, I just thought I'd show you some nice little vacation photos, so I hope you enjoy these. Well, that was fun, and I hope you enjoyed watching my
completely normal
trip to Costa Rica. I was gonna put a little sneak peek to a project there, but I kind of ran out of time editing this, so I hope you enjoyed that anyway. It was fun, and nothing bad happened. Now, let's get back to me talking about 4chan memes from 2012. Yep, a sequel is exactly what we need. I mean, 3 new derp image results just got posted today, so how could I not? This time, Jesse, Jonas, and Porter have been separated from 5 derp.pngs and were thrown in prison, aka Cadero. It was more of a tournament thing where there were several layers of enemies Jesse, Jonas, and Porter had to kill to escape the Cadero. I wrote this thing a bit through 4th and 5th grade until COVID hit, and I worked on other things, such as a remaster of When the Dirt Martians Invaded. Mostly, though, I had just lost passion for the series. By the time 5th grade rolled around, online content was the new thing, not low-effort books such as When the Dirt Martians Invaded. Oh well, this franchise was good. Okay, well, it lasted, but for now, I'll just let it rest in peace. Now, what if we do Gazelle again, but good, and we have the yellow dude in it? I'm sold. Oh yeah, back to comics. This time we have Porter, but he gets superpowers. So, 2 evil aliens want to take over Earth. Where have I heard this before? Accidentally drop a weird amulet into this weirdo's house. He gets powers every time he says the code word. What the? And those powers include flying. I think he shrinks one time, and that's it. He meets some girls with similar abilities and watches them take down this monster while he stumbles over air. He meets a weird lady and a weird old man who train him, but he still gets captured. Nice. His friends save him from torture while he gets naked, I guess. Then the main bad guy dies, and the sidekick villain lives on to carry her legacy with the dumbest name of all time. They blow up their base and the book ends with Porter having almost no character development at all. He started as a clumsy kid with no powers, and ended as a clumsy kid with powers. He learns to get better with his powers, but he doesn't do almost anything to stop any villains during the entire book. Since Porter was probably still a very underpowered character, and there's a cliffhanger at the end, this book will probably be the most deserving of a sequel, but oh well. I had worse things to be working on right now. Maybe one day Super Porter will make a return. We can only hope. Well, you can. I can do whatever I want. Alright, I'll try and be quick with this one since I lost all the pages, but to summarize, Caddy was a quick little book that combined a bunch of copyrights in a not so charming way this time. Teen Titans Go? Sure, we'll do that again. FNAF? Why not? The story follows Caddy, who gets turned into her favorite animal, a vampire squid, of course. She gets a Pikachu-like appearance and tries to hide her powers while beating up baddies and trying to get with a dude who has a square head. It's a blatant ripoff of Super Porter, but now with less Super and no Porter. It's okay, but doesn't stand as strong as Super Porter, even if it has better characters and art. It's forgettable and only ran for 120 like little tiny pages, but still nice to exist, I guess. Oh wait. Okay, this project never got finished. Frankly, it barely even got started, but I thought I'd put it here just because at the beginning of 2020, Gazelle 4 officially got cancelled. I got tired of the comic book style and wanted to move on to bigger and other things, such as YouTube and chapter books and shows. And after 237 installments of the Gazelle series that started as 4 characters and evolved to Gazelle, Robo, Snark, Musto, Old and New Musto, Evil Hand, Evil Spirit, Prison Guy, Prison Girl, New and Old Gazelle, Snark and Robo, in old and new timelines, you get the point. Now, introducing Snark's family was just a terrible idea. I got tired and laid the series to rest. No, not you. Alright, it's now mid-2020 and I'm realizing that quarantine is going to last more than just 2 weeks. And I was spending more and more time than ever working on YouTube videos. I knew using my mom's channel wouldn't quite scratch the content creation itch. So over the spring and summer, I made plans to make 7 or so more videos on the Kathy Hauge channel to end things on a high note and start anew. Those videos were If I Rated Area 51, my first book, Mind Control Episode 4, my camp experience, Margie Kosathical Lata Bondalon 3, a Flamingo animatic, and an announcement where I was going to say where I would go. I'll talk more about my animations, but they're kind of boring. My Gotcha Life animations I could discuss, but I don't want to talk about them. At the time, I was making 3 channels. One for this Jeff guy, I don't know if you guys have heard of him. But the channel was called, and you're never gonna guess this time, Jeff. Another channel would be for gaming and one for random art stuff. After all those channels went down the drain, I resorted to making another channel called Shooting Star Studios. It would have had everything I normally did, but on another channel. I even started working on adapting the Jeff franchise onto another form of media. It went very well, thank you for asking. You can tell I'm lying when I'm being unfunny. I tried to move the gaming videos onto the Shooting Star Studios channel, but Jeff Episode 1 kinda got deleted. I was heartbroken. My 250 Google Slides worth of editing had been thrown down the drain. Okay, maybe I'm unfunny while I'm telling the truth, too. I rebranded myself to Quicket Productions because believe it or not, trying to find your channel for 5 hours in the YouTube search results is not the most fun thing. So I rebranded and moved on to other things. You guys getting tired of these 4 letters yet? Because I sure am. Alright, I made a couple of shorts to try and remake Jeff for the 358,000th time. And it went about as well as trying to develop Jam without Scratch lagging for 5 minutes straight. Since everything on my list on this point can be seen on my YouTube channel, let's talk about some older videos I've made, my thought process, in a quick little lightning round. So here we go. Funny Lego guy moves around in my first and only attempt at stop motion. Also, the audio broke up weird and the voice acting is there. Blatant rip-off of the actual Phantom Cellist videos I saw when I was a kid. And in the Phantom Cellist, shirtless Porter records a short video of stuffed animals fighting before going to the pool. Disturbance in the forest. I had some bubble ones in a sword fight, and my ends got all sticky. I didn't phrase that right. Now, let's just skip the next few years because nothing really happened except a mediocre stuffed animal video. Batman means Fortnite. Here's a good one. Superhero Batman gets put into a Fortnite match and gets a battle royale while beating Mr. Freeze. I'd seen 0 Batman movies and played 0 Fortnite levels, whatever. But I liked comics and voice acting, so I did what I could. I was gonna remaster this a year later, but it got lost to time. Unfortunately, we still got this gem, and Batman meets Fortnite isn't going anywhere. It's a shame I peaked back in 19 because there's no top in this one. I mean, have you heard this voice acting?
You were gonna snipe him in the game. What? It's a game. You shoot to win.
I'm still waiting for my email from the streamies. Hey you, I really like those Circle Tune HD videos, so I tried my hand at drawing one. It turned out okay and wasn't really funny, but it signified what one of my future hobbies would be, so that's cool. It's fun, nope. No sir. And that's all the videos on this channel. Got a real roster here. I'm just kidding, I privated like half the videos here because I wanted to do a face reveal and they all had my face. But I forgot about Rewind 2020. I know you were all dying to see 2019 Porter turn himself red talking about how cool Fortnite is. But you're gonna have to settle for 2020 me. Hate that guy. And it appears that's all the things I wanted to talk about that are publicly available. So now how about we discuss some earlier ideas and versions of projects that are now public. Jeff Shorts. The third one got cancelled, but it was going to feature Jonas getting sick and would introduce a love interest for Jesse. Also, the bad guy would be in this one again. The Porter Show. For the Halloween special, I was going to make the Porter Show a yearly thing and do parodies for a ton of movies, such as Saw, Friday the 13th, Halloween, etc. For the Rocket League episode, I tried to get 2 more voice actors, but I could only get 1, so I restructured the episode. I also remade all the thumbnails a few months ago. Versus Tyler. It was based off of my friend of the same name. Privacy is for chumps. And I couldn't be bothered to watch a 20-minute tutorial, so I didn't know how to make the opponent switch sides and gave up. Not a huge shame because the art and the sprites were horrendous, but it would have been cool to see the final product. The OST was the best part of the mod easily though, and you can still listen to it on my channel, so it's not all that bad. There were going to be a ton of songs I was going to remix, but I didn't make any more because they got pretty boring. All I made one was I'd take the vocals and make my own instrumental, maybe even mess up the vocals a bit. I was halfway through making a Cosmic cover and I was going to post it when I deemed it not good enough. Halfway through and scrapped it. Every other idea was just that, an idea. I was going to, and probably still will, make more Jeff and X Edgeworld videos, but I did it in a really complicated way, so it took way too long to make the first one, and I didn't want to do it again for a while. Also, it was kind of rushed since I had a deadline for the 4-year anniversary. I was going to do the end of spares for Lunatics, but there was always the future. Versus Chili was going to have a week 2 song where you'd go against Bamboo. It would be harder, and I was going to remix the original songs to make new sprites for the mini update, but Versus Porter version 2 had higher priority. Versus Porter Remastered was going to have 4 songs instead of 3, but I changed it to 3 for optimization issues. The 3rd song was removed and used for the trailer instead. Jason Returns was going to be a live action, but that got scrapped for a nice animation. Jason's design got changed once or twice. Versus Kathy would have been updated after Funk and Family Rush came out, but I couldn't be bothered. Funk and Family Rush is going to have a week with G, Ryan, and Drew in it, but I ran out of time, so I settled for just 4 main characters. Jesse Gets Trolled was only made to draw views to Jam Chapter 1, and I wanted to draw something fun. Jam Chapter 1 is going to have every chapter be in one game, and they were going to be episodes. But the update was originally still going to be a rhythm game. It was way too hard to chart, and I liked Deltarune a lot at the time, in September when development started. So this is more fun to make anyways. The story would have Hops and Squiggles go to Stuffway to meet Chili, Cheerios, and Sprinter, and hang out when Squiggles is... well, I don't want to reveal anything in case I use it for the Chapter 2 update. I also might add Chapter 1, update Chapter 1 with better sprites and remastered up art when Chapter 2 drops, but since I updated it once for the 1.5 updates, maybe that's not going to happen anymore. Also, the shop was added almost last minute to spice up gameplay, and because I had plenty of extra time before the deadline.
Hey everyone, it's Live Action Reporter here back again. I just wanted to tell you that since it took so long to make this video, that Jeff episode 1 actually released while I was working on this one, so I didn't really have time to put any segment about him in, but I'll just tell you that the original episode is going to be fully animated like the Jeff shorts, but it takes so long to animate everything, and it looked so bad that I just scrapped it completely, like 2 minutes into the animation. But that's about it. Everything else went almost according to plan, and when the episode came out, it was just delayed so much because I kept on getting distracted with other works. Funk and Family Rush came into the mix. I didn't have time to work on it because of school, and then I finally got it done once Jam wrapped up. But yeah, thanks for listening to me talk for a little bit longer. The video's almost over, so let's get to the outro.
And now we're done. Finally, the entire history of Quick Hit Productions from 2016 to 2022 to celebrate my 5 years on this platform, or at least at the time of recording, that is. Now, the only thing left I could talk about is... Porter's big day, of course.